Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.
Welcome to Peter and Roughie's Football Show, sponsored by Arnold Clark. I'm Peter Martin, Alan Ruff, Chris Miller and Charlie Adam here with us on this Friday. Delighted to have your company. If you are on Facebook, don't forget, all you need to do is hit the follow button or share our stream with your friends. Let them know we're here. Join the football family. And if you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button and you'll be part of the team. We will be reading out some of your messages over the course of the programme and discussing so many topics, including, of course, last night's sensational game for Rangers against Royal Antwerp. Just quickly, a game that has taken place already this afternoon. It was a European Championship qualifier. Not one that meant anything for Scotland's women's team, but they won it by 10-0 against Cyprus. So clearly the only position they could finish in now was third in the group. And it's really a case of Stuart McLaren just taking on the job at the moment until they find a permanent boss. Still waiting for him to decide whether he wants it or not. But a 10-0 win is a good caretaker start for him. And they'll get Portugal in Cyprus on Tuesday as well. So well done to Scotland's women for that victory today. Also, I must give a special mention. It sounds like a radio show, this, Roughie, but I'm going to give a special mention to Michael Kilkie and John Mancini. Now, this is something that has Chris Miller at the very heart. These guys are two mates of mine, two DJs who did some of the best clubs around in Scotland. I mean, real dance DJs, Roughie, you wouldn't know them. And they come out with this brilliant little cassette. Now, just in case, for the benefit of anybody under 30, it's actually, it's not just a cassette, it's actually, you download it, Charlie, and you've got 50 hours of dance music. Now, the reason I bought it is basically to go running because Chris Miller is going to get me in ship shape, and this stuff helps you run, Roughie. And I'm going to give it to you as well, Roughie, because this could save you taking tablets. Basically, get some tight gear on and start running. And once you get to the rave music, you could break Roger Bannister's 4-minute record going a mile. It's magnificent, Charlie. It's the perfect thing for training. All you need is a glow stick, Charlie, in your house. Shut the door, don't let your wife see you, and start dancing like a maniac. Are you up for it?
Oh, I'm up for it, Peter. I was actually listening to some dance music on the way in. Reminiscent of the old times in Glasgow when I was at Rangers. These dance clubs and that, it's my type of music, so I loved it.
Absolutely. Well done to Michael and John Mancini. Great. Hope you have a great success with it. Thought I'd give them a mention. Now, what about last night? It was brilliant. Charlie, have you ever witnessed anything like that game, Rangers winning at 4-3?
No, we knew it was going to be tough. Obviously, the second in the Belgian league, but I never expected Rangers to concede 3 goals. But the way they come back from their 2 goals just before half time was phenomenal, and you could see that they're confident. And I felt that they probably took the foot off the gas a little bit. No played as well as they could have in the last month or so, and this game's probably refocused them. A great opportunity to get into the next round of European stages. And a great away win. Gerrard's record is phenomenal. 40 games. I think they're undefeated in one defeat in 40 games or something like that. It's incredible, and the ball just keeps rolling for them.
Yeah, I mean, it was an unbelievable game. And one of the things about it, Roughie, I mean, some strange decisions as well. Penalties, I mean, one of them against Steven Davis was soft to say the least, but that's the nature of the way the game's going at the moment. Even if you check VAR, they're still looking and saying penalty. I was gobsmacked by that decision.
Yeah, I was gobsmacked with 2 or 3 decisions, but not to take anything away for Rangers. They thoroughly deserved it. I thought the Davis one was a strange one. I mean, again, I thought Morelos made the most of his penalty as well. And you have to talk me through the last penalty, because for where I was, where did it hit the boy that gets to get the red card?
It hits him in the hand. Because
Kent doesn't his hand. He looked as if his hands down. He didn't have his hands out or anything like that. It just seemed to bounce.
Well, I think he changed the direction. I think he changed the direction of the ball, Roughie, which is where I think the referee was probably looking at.
It's just the inconsistency. But Rangers won't be complaining. You get a break like that, and to go 4-3 is wonderful, and they are through. I mean, that team's not going to come to Ibrox and win whatever they need to win. There's no way Rangers are going to let that slip. So, as far as I'm concerned, they're through it the last 16, and well done to them.
Yeah, Roughie, I mean, there's millions of people on here absolutely caning you because you said Antwerp would win this one. I mean, they're absolutely battering you, Roughie. I just want to know what your reaction is to that.
No, I thought it 3-2. I thought Antwerp, if they were good enough, they would have seen the game out. But obviously they never. Ryan Kent's goal was superb. So, sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it wrong. But no.
Yeah. No, listen, I'm only reacting to some of the people who are giving you pelters on here. That's the nature of the game. Chris, Ryan Kent's goal was special. I mean, if he could do that on a regular basis, he really is a match winner. I love players, and I include you in this one. I don't include Charlie because he's a different style of player, but I include players like yourself who can square guys up, take them on, and show a bit of skill. Do you know what I mean? Charlie can hit a sixpence from 50 yards away. You can't, but
I'm a bulldozer.
Somebody.
No, I saw a few clips of Charlie this year. He's still got the jink of the hips, can pass players and can stick it in the stanchions from anywhere. But I think a lot of people are maybe shocked that Kent never started. But away from home, I think his form has maybe dipped a wee bit of late. But to have that impact coming off the bench, know exactly what you're going to get, positive, direct. And I think that was a big thing in the second half. That Rangers subs really made an impact. And I thought that they thoroughly deserved to win the game. Going on what you're saying about decisions as well, I didn't understand any of the penalties. I thought every one you could say was soft, but that's the game we live in these days, isn't it? But as far as Kent's concerned, it was a magnificent goal, and he took it really well, and it gave Rangers that drive and impetus in the second half to go on and deservedly they win the game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to take anything away from Rangers here. It was because I think we'll talk about Tavernier and Roof, which is a problem, Charlie. But I can understand why the manager would have been peeved at losing the goals, because I thought Rangers should have absolutely battered them. I mean, they were not. They were. I don't want to say they were poor, but they weren't a great side. Rangers, I thought, were going to take 4 or 5 off them at one point.
Yeah, listen, they started first 20 minutes or something. You'd expect Rangers to dominate, and then they get the goal, and then they lose. Barisic is caught wrong side for the header, and then listen, there was one of the goals was a great strike as well. So, and obviously the penalty just straight before half time is a blow, but they reacted in the right way. But Rangers will know. Listen, they've got 1 foot in the next round. They just need to keep a clean sheet, but they'll know they'll score at Ibrox as well, and that's a big thing as well. So you got to take confidence from that. Going away from home, scoring 4 goals in Europe is very difficult, and I felt that Rangers, the shape out of possession was brilliant. They had a game plan, and they stuck to that, and Kent comes up with that magic, and he's got that in him. Listen, he is a top player, and his form has dipped a little bit in the last couple of weeks, but he was rested last night, and he'll come back into the weekend against Dundee United and try and push on to get these 4 wins that they need.
Yeah, problems obviously with Kemar Roof's calf, and of course Tavernier. We're still waiting for the real prognosis on how long he could be out, but it's prompted Steven Gerrard to say that they might look for an emergency signing.
So Leon's probably more ready for it, if you like. He's got the physical capabilities of adapting to play there. At the same time, we might look outside. We're just going to have to wait to see what news comes back in terms of James's injury. We might have to look for an emergency situation there. But at the moment, I'm happy to go with Leon.
Big blow, Chris, because Tavernier has been sensational for Rangers this season.
It has been, and I think he's always been influential. He's always popped up with goals. He gives everything. But I think he's one of those players that at a point there, maybe a season, two seasons ago, that fans would criticise. But I think this season he's really, under Steven Gerrard, he's took his game to another level, and he's been a talisman for him. But they've got so much quality just now. I think that's one of the things. If you're comparing Celtic and Rangers, I think Rangers look to be a team where they've got somebody comes out, the next man comes in, and steps up to the job. The boy came on at right back for Tavernier. I thought was excellent as well. He looked so accomplished as well. Looked comfortable, and you see that as well when boys are stepping out. The guy that's coming in behind them is just as capable as doing a job, and I think that's something that maybe Rangers hadn't had before and Celtic had, but this season it seems to be the exact reverse, and Tavernier has been in different class this year.
Yeah, and the other thing about it, Roughie, is it doesn't matter whether he. Yeah, I mean, I hope he comes back. I don't want the boy to have an injury which rules him out for the rest of the season. But if he never kicks a ball again this season, he's still Player of the Year.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. He's up there. He'll definitely be in the four with the form he's had. And then he's the second top goal scorer in the league. You know, for a fullback's unbelievable. I know a lot of them have been penalties, but sending that free kicks, his delivery into the box has been absolutely superb. But just to keep on that subject, I'm sure the wee boy Patterson must be kicking himself. He went to that party last week because he would be an automatic choice in there.
I mean, listen, these are the moments, basically, Charlie. You know, it's that sliding doors moment where something can open up for you right away and you can capitalise on it.
Peter, this could be a career-changing moment for the young lad. But instead he sat in his house, isolating for the next 10 days, 2 weeks, on, thinking. The manager's probably not spoke to him since it's happened. He'd be thinking, what am I going into in 2 weeks' time when I have to sit with the manager? A lot of thoughts will be going through his mind, and then the captain gets injured, and this is your chance. And like I say, it could be career-changing. But, one silly mistake, and it's cost them. So, listen, it's going to be a huge blow for Rangers, but they're fortunate enough they're in a good position in the league. They are in the obviously, I think, 1 foot in the next round of the UEFA Cup, in the Europa League. So it'll be a strange one, but I think this could be a long-term one, 4 to 6 weeks. It's going to be a huge blow for Tavernier, he's been brilliant. Since he's been given that armband, he's stepped up to the mark and he's been sensational.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a quick look over the other results from last night in the Europa League that involved British clubs. And there you are, confirmation. Tottenham 4-1, Bale, magnificent. Man United 4-0, Fernandes, incredible. Yeah, I mean, since he's joined Manchester United, I think it's something like 33 goals, 20 assists in 58 appearances. He's been unbelievable. A 0-0 for Slavia Prague, Leicester, and elsewhere it was Benfica 1, Arsenal 1. So I think Rangers are away from home, Chris, when you consider they're on the verge of winning the title, but Steven Gerrard over the years prior to that, even when Celtic were in the title, he was building up the stature of a manager on those European results. And Rangers are a completely different club now on the European stage.
Definitely. And I think that's something that it just shows you that managers need time to build a squad, implement their ideas, get the players in that they want, and also obviously the background staff as well. That it's not just what happens on the pitch; it's the whole ethos of the club. And right now, Rangers, you've got to say, are the dominant.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that in mind, Rangers back in action as far as the Premiership is concerned. Here's the fixtures for the weekend, if you're looking forward to it. And as you can see with most of the games there, Rangers take on Dundee United. It's Ross County Celtic. That's a 7:30 kickoff. What an unusual time that is in the weekend. St Mirren, Livingston, Motherwell, St Johnstone, Hibs against Hamilton, and Aberdeen against Kilmarnock. And Rangers 15 points ahead of Celtic. By the time Celtic play, they could be 18 points again. And I think Steven Gerrard just mentioning the fact that their performances now in Europe could help them again in the league.
It's a different level in terms of if you're not perfect in terms of your organisation and your shape and you make a couple of individual errors within the game, you'll get punished for it. So I think it was a bit of a welcome back to the Europa League level for us as a squad and a team last night. I think we'll be better next Thursday for that, and I think we'll also be better at the weekend for it.
Yeah, interestingly enough, Roughie, I'm glad now. You'd think, Roughie, that having become a St Johnstone legend and won a Scottish Cup medal, he'd have a taller chair now, that would give him a bit more stature. You'd think that, Roughie. I don't know.
I just want to
know what it is? It's that block next to me, because usually Tam McManus is in there, and he's a nightmare when it comes to getting his camera right. And the one thing that I'm really worried about, Roughie, is clearly behind Chris, he's put some of his favourite clothes. And if that's his height now, he's never going to reach them. He's going to have to get his wife in to get them.
I hope they're
just want
her
to-
handbags.
Yeah, I just want to see his. I just want to see the state of his knees if he's knee on his knees for the whole hour of this show.
What are you on about? He's standing on a piano.
I'm on the tallest chair in the house.
Brilliant. Anyway, you're still with us, which is a good one. Dundee United 2 victories in the last 2 games. Are they back, Charlie? Is this them getting back to some kind of form?
Yeah, listen, Mickey's obviously, he keeps banging the drum on that they're just a newly promoted team, which they are. For me, I think they've got a lot of championship players, but they've done incredible to get to the position where they are. And, you know, the big thing for them is staying in the league this season. If they stay in the league, then it'll be successful to then move and progress next season. I think he's done a great job, and, you know, to get back-to-back wins in the league. First time this season, I think they've got back-to-back wins. So they've got to be confident going into the games, but I still think Rangers will have too much for them.
Yeah, and just on that, Charlie, do you think if you were to select one or the other, if you were picking Dundee United or St Mirren for top 6, which one would you go for?
Oh, it's a tough one because St Mirren are obviously in good form. I'm going to go for United. I think they can nick it just because they got Shankland up there. I still think he's going to get them the goals that will get them into the top 6.
Roughie, do you agree with him?
Yeah, I don't think there'll be much between the two of them. It'll be interesting. It'll be another good fight. You know, we've got a fight for 3rd and 4th, and why not 5th and 6th? You know, it just makes it a wee bit better. You know, if we come to the split, if these are exciting games to watch. But I think St Mirren have got the bit between their teeth just now. But I don't think Dundee United will be too far away. But like Charlie, I don't think they'll be up for it at Ibrox at the weekend.
Yeah, okay, I know you're going for Rangers to win it, but are you going for Dundee United or St Mirren?
Dundee United.
Okay, there you are. I got there. In the end, it's a long-winded one from you, Ruffy. I'm not quite sure what's happened, and now I know what's happened, actually. You've got that jag, which is clearly, it's had a major effect on you this week because you're going off in wee mazy runs and you don't know where you're going until you get to the end of it. Are you happy with the jag?
Oh, I thought the jag was fantastic. I have to thank the NHS. It was everything was fine, right down to a T, in and out. You know, very lucky that I jumped the queue, having been to 3 World Cup finals. But I mean, that's just the way it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. Just it's a story. It's a story of your life, really. Just in and out. There you have it. So Ruffy's still with us on that. We got the answer, Chris. Dundee United or St Mirren if you were picking one for top 6?
He can't go for St Mirren.
I don't know. Well, look, I think obviously St Mirren had all the stuff at the start of the season, the COVID, they didn't get a lot to train, but I think now you can see what Jim Gooden's assembled a good squad there. They all seem to work really hard for each other, and Goody's a good manager, he'll demand him, but like the rest of us, I just think Shankland's come into a wee bit of form. He started to score goals again. He did a wee kind of run, he wasn't maybe scoring as much, but you've got somebody like that in your team. I think that's what every club wants, that a guy that's going to get you 15 to 20 goals a season, and Shanks can definitely do that. So for me, just on that little factor, I think that I'd to United, but it'll be tight. It'll go to the kind of last games.
Yeah, okay, interesting. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll go for St Mirren because just because basically, Ruffy, the town of Paisley gave me so many joyous nights out. You know, it's as simple as that. Who can forget Toledo Junction on a Monday night and Paris nightclub on a Paisley? I give you some of the best nights, Ruffy, I've ever
tell
had.
me about it.
That's just as a town and as a young 20-year-old boy, I went through a massive learning curve living in Paisley. So I'm going for the Saints to go top 6. I'll never forget that area. Brilliant place. And who cares what Chris Miller of Morton thinks anyway? Now, let's crack on with even more bad news. I mean, if Rangers have suffered, with Kemar Roofe and James Tavernier, Suddenly, Christopher Julian out for 9 months, Roughie. And that is a real body blow to Celtic.
God, it's a bloody blow to the player. You know, I've never been out for any length of time with an injury. I just can't get my head around what it'd be like, you know, to be sitting on a treatment table for that length of time. You're not training with your mates, you know. People are just saying hello to you as they pass by the treatment room. It must be a horrible, horrible experience, especially for him, because I don't know if he was one of the ones that was thinking he was going to get a big move. So he'll have to put that on hold as well. But I feel sorry for the player himself, you know, because when you hear of these guys that are out for like 6, 7, 8, 9 months, it must be a torrid time.
Yeah, and I think he's going to go back to France to do some of the rehabilitation. So it's a real blow for Celtic. But again, you just look at the forward planning, and I think they've been caught short with that situation. Stephen Welsh will obviously have a great opportunity to try and cement his place on a regular basis as well, alongside the likes of Christopher Ayer. But it is a blow, and of course the manager was giving us an update today on the possibility of James Forrest coming back. I think he's had a minor setback.
You know, he had a wee bit of a setback, you know, in his rehab. So we're just sort of keeping an eye on that, as you know, scrutinise it as closely as we can. We want him to come back right and fresh and hit the ground running, because he's been out for a long time and it's been a real body blow for him and for us. But I can't give you a time scale on it, but it shouldn't be too far in the near distant future.
Do you get the feeling? I mean, I watched the game in midweek against Aberdeen, Chris. David Turnbull is the shining light for them. They're racking up some wins at the moment. In the end, it's really a kind of, it's almost like trying to save face and just end the season positively.
I think that's all that Celtic can do, is really hope to finish the season strongly, pick up as many wins as possible, build that confidence again, because, you know, over that Christmas period there, it wasn't good. There were, you know, there's a lot of people obviously calling for Neil Lennon's head, and the fans weren't happy, but all they can do now is just keep trying to win games and pick up points and see where it takes them. You know, football is a funny game, and you never know what's round the corner, and they have to have that belief and that mentality in the dressing room in terms of if Rangers do slip up, then they can capitalise on that. So yeah, it's a difficult one, but you know, they've got experienced players there. The defensive situation isn't ideal. Obviously, Julian, I think, was probably the main centre half there, but young Stephen Welsh was a guy who was on loan at Morton, know him well. I think he's done well when asked upon to step in, so it'd be great for him to get that experience up and push on and try to take that spot for himself. But yeah, all Celtic can do is really keep pushing on, keep winning games, and as you say, David Turnbull, I think he's been the shining light for the season, and it just, you wonder why it took it so long to give him the run of games. I think that it's so obviously deserved the way his performances have been. So yeah. It's difficult times.
Yeah, it's a strange one. I mean, a lot of Celtic fans have asked why it took so long just to get him bedded into the side. He just looks as if he's been there for forever and a day. The other key aspect of the result for Rangers, which has implications for both Scottish clubs, is Rangers are really flying the flag and getting as many points as possible in this coefficient, Charlie. And it benefits both clubs, Rangers and Celtic. But this season coming up, if Rangers defeat Royal Antwerp next week in the return leg at Ibrox, suddenly you're in a situation where they're in a really good position, Charlie, to get straight into the group stages of the Champions League, which is where really the champions should be.
No, I've been saying it for years, Peter. I think it's, you know, if you win your league, you should be automatically into the Champions League. So if Rangers can get through this and give themselves that progress, then it's, you know, plenty more coffers there for next season to go and spend and add better quality again, and to push up the, you know, to try and keep winning for titles and do well in the Champions League, because that's where you want to be. That's where the money is, and you know, it'll be great and a great achievement from where Rangers were and where the coefficient's been in the last few years to now. It's been a phenomenal effort.
Yeah, and with that in mind, Neil Lennon clearly feels the same as many here in Scotland about that coefficient, and of course the fact that some other leagues get teams that finish third and fourth into the group stages.
I think if you've won a title over, 38 games, I think you deserve a chance to, play at that or sit at that table. Whereas other teams and countries are finishing third and fourth, and they get automatic qualification because of the coefficient, which again, can be deemed in many different ways. So yeah, I welcome the comments this week, and hopefully that will come to fruition.
It's a big change, Roughie, that's needed there. It's not fair. Listen, whether it's Celtic or Rangers here or other countries across Europe that are not part of the Big Five, this imbalance has got to end, because in the end you'll get to a situation where clubs will be looking and thinking, well, they need to try and come up with another plan, because Celtic and Rangers are huge clubs in this country. Ajax, Feyenoord, PSV, equally huge clubs that deserve a better crack of the whip than sometimes. I mean, Ajax in the last couple of years had to qualify for the Champions League again after being in the semi-finals.
Yeah, I think it should. I think it should be the individual club that should be based on what they've done in Europe and not what the league's done. I think if you've got a history as Rangers and Celtic have in the big tournaments, over a scale of years, that's where you should be gathering points. Obviously you take other points into consideration, but for the length of time that they've been in the top of European football, they should be automatic. There's no doubt about that. And you're hinting at the English league, where there's a club down there could finish fourth that have never ever been fourth before, and all of a sudden they're getting in. So I can see why they're upset about the whole situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Ross County against Celtic. You won't be aware of this, Chris, but for the past 9 years, I think Roughie has tipped Ross County to win one match, and that was it. And that was only because they were playing Ross County reserves in a bounce game. So he's clearly got a chip on his shoulder about County. Can you see them winning? Can you see them winning Sunday, Roughie?
No, I can't. I can't. I think Celtic will be too strong. It is always difficult to go up there, but I think Celtic will be too strong, and I think Celtic will win this one 2-0. I went 2-0 Rangers, by the way. I never heard your prediction. See, Charlie, just because I caught up with 5 points in the weekend there, not a mention. Not a mention at all.
Listen,
about how well I done.
Roughie, can I tell you something?
I'm on the attack.
You are so far behind me. I'm not even looking over my shoulder. I mean, it's
only
that
15
outrageous.
Points now. 15 points can be catched.
Oh, can they? What's Rangers ahead at the moment?
What score did you go Rangers Dundee United?
I'm going to go for Rangers to win that one by 3-0. Okay. You happy with that?
I'm going to go Celtic. Celtic 2-0.
Celtic 2-0. Are you going Celtic 2-0? I'm going to go Celtic to win it by 2-0 as well. Yeah, I'm going to go for 2-0, yeah. Charlie, what about you?
Celtic will go 2-1 and Rangers will be 4-0.
4-0. Chris?
No, I think 3-1 for Rangers United, and I think Celtic will take 3-0.
3-0. I noticed your face changed there just slightly, Chris, when Charlie said 4-0. You've obviously not been privy to it. Don't worry. If Rangers were playing Real Madrid, the classic team of the 1960s, Charlie would still say Rangers 4, Real Madrid 0. He's on a roll at the moment. He's been absolutely magnificent. Yeah, that's exactly what I was just about to say to you. You've been on a roll, and now there's an interesting story that developed at Easter Road. Certainly, since the start of the season, I think a lot of people were looking at Scott Allen and wondering whether he would kick a ball again. He has been out speaking today. He was speaking to Hibs TV, and it was a fear for himself because he had a medical problem. Nobody knew. There was a lot of speculation about what that problem was. And there's been a hardening around some of the muscles in his heart, which made it difficult for him to get the blood pumping out and oxygen to his body. And quite simply that curtailed his full fitness at Hibernian. And in the end, there was a real fear he wasn't going to kick the ball again. And even Scott himself, speaking to Hibs TV, voiced his concerns over his future.
The way I had been feeling up until I'd had that test in terms of physically and what I could give on a football pitch at that current time, it was really worrying in terms of telling your family, the people around you. But I feel when you've got these type of people close to you, it kind of spurs you on, especially I've got a young son who, for me, I always wanted him to come to games and watch me play football, and that was a hard part, so that was a real motivation for me to get back on the park. But in terms of human side, having that and diabetes, I knew it was going to be a challenge.
Yeah, cardiomyopathy was the diagnosis, and it was touch and go, Roughie, and whether he was going to kick a ball again. That would have been a huge loss for me.
I've been a huge loss to Scottish football for a start. You know, a young lad with so much ability, but when you get that kind of thing happen to you, the first thing you think of is your family, and you hope that you can recover from it. And fortunately, it looks as if he's still fighting it, but getting there. You know, it's not the kind of illness you want if you're running about, giving your 100% for your club. You know, with that in the back of your mind. So I think the sooner it gets cleared up, 100%, he'll feel more confident in getting on the park and doing his bit. But it'd be a tragedy if it affected his football career, because he's still got a lot to offer.
Yeah, I actually, on more than a few occasions, watched him come in sporadically for Celtic, and I thought he should have been a player that actually was able to cement his place in that midfield, Chris. You just wonder how far that development of that problem stretched back to, and whether that curtailed him under Brendan Rodgers at Celtic. Because remember, this is a boy who had to deal with type 1 diabetes, and then off the back of that, this heart problem.
You know, as a player, you pick up injuries, and you know how demotivating that can be, and where your headspace can be at. And for him, obviously, to deal with the diabetes first and foremost, and then this other health issue, it must have been so disheartening. But I loved how he spoke there. You can see the human side to it as well, that how much it means to him, his family, and obviously his young son as well. And it just shows you that he can use that as a motivation to push himself and get over this. And you just hats off to him, and hope that he makes a full recovery and gets back playing, because he's a player that you love to watch. He does things that other players don't do. He takes the ball under pressure. He always looks for that positive pass. He's a flair player that fans want to see. He can be a game changer. So obviously, I think everybody just wants to wish him the best of health, and hopefully recovers after this and gets him back playing at Hibs again.
It's all the more remarkable, Charlie, when you consider that he has been able to, at times hold down a place. He had dizzy spells. He was wondering why he was getting substituted quite a lot, because quite simply he was running out of gas. But even when he was on the ball, as Chris mentioned there, Charlie, he's my type of midfielder, like yourself, that ability to, instead of earning a career playing the ball sideways, is thinking, there's a pass on forward here that can open up defences.
Peter, he can open doors, and that's the type of player he is. He's a quality player. If I'm him, I'm a bit worried if any of the clubs have not picked up on a medical. So it's obviously just been recent that it's come on, because normally in medicals, I don't know, in Scotland maybe a little bit different. You would have heart scans and things like that, and it's not been picked up on. So it's good to see him back playing. It was a worry earlier in the season. We discussed on here that he was only just getting 40 minutes or 50 minutes of coming on the sub and not making the impact that we know he can, and now this is the reason why. So fair play to him to go away and refocus and get the treatment, get it sorted. And I hope it's under control now, and we can see the real Scott Allan, because we want to see the players that, like you say, can go and split a defence with a pass, and the rave reviews he got, and that earned that move to Celtic. So if he can get back to that level and playing in that Hibs team, they'll be a much better team with him in it.
Yeah, Hibs against Hamilton. Hamilton, of course, when you look at their form, Roughie, this is going to be a tight one to call. I'm going to go 2-1, Roughie, just so, because I haven't heard yours, but I'm going to go the Hibbies to edge it 2-1, if only for the fact that I think they are so determined to maintain that advantage over Aberdeen. I think Hibs can actually, I don't know, I've got a feeling that if they get the bit between their teeth, can finish third ahead of Aberdeen.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. But I mean, playing Hamilton now is a bit of a worry, because we can't really predict, what's going to happen. They keep sort of pulling it out, particularly away from home. And they've done it at Easter Road before. And I'm going down the road where I'm thinking I'm going to go to Hamilton, and I'm not. So I think I think if the Hibs strikers can get their act together, I think Hibs will win this one, and I'm going to go Hibs 2-0.
2-0. Charlie.
Well, Hamilton good form, aren't they? And you always expect Hibs to win at home. I'm going to go for 1-1. I'm going to go for the draw. I think Hamilton I just think they're going to get out of it. I think that they've got momentum, and Chipper's got them well organised, and they can nick a goal. I like the pairing up front, Anderson and the big lad I thought caused Rangers problems last week. So I'm going to go for 1-1.
Yeah, and I'll also like, just before I get Chris's prediction, Charlie, I also like the fact that, every now and then you can read between the lines on a player when he eventually comes out and says something in the press. Bruce Anderson says he's not thinking about going back to Aberdeen at the moment. He's happy at Hamilton because for the first time in a long while he feels wanted. Now, if that's not a kipper slapped back at Aberdeen, I don't know what is. That is basically, a boy saying, I'm off.
Yeah, no, it's he never really played enough games, did he? Minutes here and there, and obviously Derek fancied Cosgrove ahead of him, who done well, the previous seasons, but struggled this year and injuries and things like that, but still never got an opportunity. And the thing about Chipper is he'll get his arm around them, he'll give him love, like all football players want to do. They want to be loved, they want to be coached well, and Chipper will give that, will give him an environment and a platform to go and play. And the results have shown that when he gets an opportunity, he can cause problems and he can score goals.
Yeah. What's your prediction? Yeah.
It just shows you how things can change. Before the first and second division get told they couldn't play any football, he was coming to us. We'd done a deal for him to come to us, and it was put in the burner because there's no point in coming to us if you can't play football. So he went to Hamilton.
Wow. Just again, it just goes back to what we're talking about, that sliding doors moment. And, and of course, now playing at Hamilton and looking every part of the player. Is it enough in your mind, Chris, for Hamilton to take something from this game?
Hamilton are one of those teams you always tip at the start of the season to maybe not to go down. And I think the way it's panning out just now, you can see them turning it around again and staying in the league. So I'm going to go for a Hamilton win, a slight one, but 2-1. And going on with the Bruce Anderson thing there, it just shows you it's like sometimes you just need an opportunity. And if one manager doesn't fancy you, don't get an opportunity, you go elsewhere and you take that. Things happen, and that's football.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's obviously another one that's in Brian Rice's book.
Yeah,
2-1 Hamilton. He's obviously in the big black book.
I'll need to check Chipper's list, because he's got a list. I don't know if you're aware of it, Chris. He's going to absolutely leather anyone who absolutely gave him pelters. He's got a list of people, and I'm just checking if Miller has said something about it. Anyway, listen, I'm sure everybody who's been criticised deserves their moment if they bounce back on these things. So fair play to them. Now, here's a hot topic, and again, it's something, sadly, that I think rears its ugly head every week on this programme at the moment, since we've all been locked down and social media has gained more and more prominence over the last decade. Basically, somebody sent a death threat message on Instagram to Florian Camberry. Now, I don't know. All I would say is this, and I think we reiterate this every week on this programme, Roughie. Sooner or later, if the social media companies don't do anything about it, the governments will get a hold of them and they'll force the issue. If a president can get away with it for 4 years of madness and they still do nothing, it's going to take governments to step in and turn the screw on them to try and catch people who feel as if they can get away with anything. Abuse, death threats, just downright bad behaviour on social media. Sooner or later, you're going to have to produce something that links you to the account, and then you pay the consequences.
I think we'd all agree on that. There's no doubt about it. That these organisations need to take some responsibility and stamp this out. I'm quite pleased that the police are now being a lot more active, although they might not be instant. They seem to have some kind of department now that looks into that for football anyway. And we've seen a couple of instances where we thought nothing was getting done, and all of a sudden, lo and behold, they do eventually get their man, and that's what we want. We need these people to be punished. And you think that would be a deterrent for the other idiots that are out there, that this is what's going to happen to you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get it, Charlie. I mean, what it's a game of football. It's a sport. That's all it is. It's not life. It's not life and death. It's not your family. It's not everyday living and human decency. But some people just descend into the gutter.
Yeah, it's embarrassing and it's shambolic at times. You know, we all, as footballers, you put yourself out there to get a bit of stick from away supporters and things like that, and that's part and parcel. We understand that, and you have a bit of banter and fun, but there's a level, and you know, one of my ex-teammates obviously going through it at the moment with James McLean and some of the things that have been done to him and said, and I'm seeing things coming out today from, you know, people backing him, which is great that people are going to do something about it. But this to Canberra is just outrageous, and you know, like you say, we need social media, these big companies to act upon it. And you know, if you can ban a president of America, former president of America, you can ban these idiots. So hopefully we can get that sorted and move on from it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to see stronger penalties, Chris, for people who are going down a road of threatening people, and they're threatening the individual, and you know, really putting a lot of fear into their family life.
Charlie's spot on. It's, as players, you expect a level of abuse, whether it be from your own supporters at times, from away supporters, and I like social media. I like that interaction, and if you give it out, then you've got to be able to take it. But there's, as you say, lines, levels, and when you're threatening people's lives, family, racist, whatever it may be, it's just not on. And these big companies have got enough money to police it. Let's be honest, you know, they're making millions, trillions, billions of dollars, so there has to be some accountability for these big companies, and they've got a responsibility to the users of these platforms to make sure that it's a safe environment for them to interact on.
Yeah, absolutely. Aberdeen against Kilmarnock. Roughie, I'm looking here at the stats on this. Kelly, just 2 wins in the last 10 league games. And boy, if Tommy Wright didn't know he had a job in his hands, he certainly knows now. They've got to try and get something against Aberdeen.
Yeah, as the guys will know, when confidence is low and nothing's happening, you know, you seem to go on a wee run and not getting in, and they need a spark. They need a spark to somebody, you know, to do something a wee bit special, you know, to lift everybody, you know, because one wee spark can turn things around. I don't think it will at Aberdeen. I know Aberdeen haven't scored for a long, long time, but there have been, you know, wee glimpses here and there, hitting the post, wee things that haven't went their way. I think the weekend could be the time, you know, against a team who are lacking in confidence. So I'm going to go Aberdeen to win 2-0.
Oh, that's fantastic. A team that haven't scored in 6 games, and Ruffy's going suddenly 2 goals. That's magnificent, Ruffy. You could be well behind, by the way. They might actually just call the league by the time you finish, Ruffy. But as far as that special player you're talking about, Tommy Wright is hoping it's Kyle Lafferty.
And that was the reason why we brought Lafferty in to give us that more experience and quality up top. Because, I mean, the Motherwell game was the best example of it. The number of positions that we get into. Rangers game is slightly different. But even there, with a couple of opportunities first half where we take the wrong choice. So it's about being positive in that final third. And I say it's just I believe, a lack of self-belief, because we've got ourselves into good positions in good areas of the pitch, and haven't been, I don't think, brave enough or positive enough in those situations.
Okay, based on the evidence, Charlie, I'm going to go Aberdeen 1, Kilmarnock 0, a shot from the edge of the box, which takes 2 wicked deflections and then goes in off the post.
Peter, I just think we should take the goals away and put the jumpers down for this game. This has got 0-0 written all over it. 2 teams that cannot score a goal. I'm going to go 0-0.
Yeah. Chris, do you agree with Charlie, or are you going for Roughie in a goals fest?
No, I think it'll be the odd goal. And I think Tommy is done well getting Kyle Lafferty in there. He'll bring a bit of steel, a bit of organisation, that bit of experience that I think they'll need. He knows the leagues, this league. He knows how to find the net. And I'm going to back my ex-manager to get his first victory in a 1-0 win.
Yeah,
They're
I
both
thought
my
you might do
ex-managers, aren't
that.
they? So I'm going to go with Tommy
Yeah,
Wright.
yeah, don't think that. I mean, I'll just write that down for Derek, just in case he's got a list as well. Anyway, yeah, I mean, listen, I mean that's the key issue because you were with him for such a long time. What do you think Tommy will bring to Kilmarnock eventually that he can turn around their fortunes?
You know, he's got a presence and he'll make demands, and he won't be scared to tell you exactly what he thinks, and he'll get the best out the players there. He's a great man manager, and he knows the league as well. So obviously he knows he's not been in good form and it's confidence, but and that's the key, building that confidence again and getting the team playing well.
Yeah. Okay. Motherwell against your old side, St Johnstone. I'm going to go to you first, and obviously put the frighteners on you, Chris. But I just get the feeling it's Motherwell 0, St Johnstone 1. I think Motherwell, with all their injury problems this weekend, look at Roughie writing it down. I can tell he's using his pen right now to write it down. But I think St Johnstone can win this one, Chris, because Motherwell have got a few injury problems.
And I think as well with the bounce that they got from getting into the cup final, I think is the performance that were up. They've been scoring more goals, and I think from what I saw St Johnstone this year, it's been a wee bit lack in the final third, and I think that's something that they've solved. The only concern I would have is one eye on that final coming up, and players don't want to get injured. It was the same when we got there in the Scottish Cup final. We played Inverness the week before, and it was. You could just tell players were holding back a wee bit, and that's something that I think you can't allow to happen. So I'm going to go for a draw in this game. I'm going to go for 1 each.
Wow. And the thing about it is, Charlie, here's the classic line. Just a couple of weeks before a cup final, the manager comes out and says, cup final places are up for grabs.
Yeah, listen, I think that Callum will have probably 8 or 9 positions already sorted, and he'll be looking at 1 or 2 that might come in and make an impact. But I think St Johnstone will win this, and I do think they'll win the League Cup final next week as well. I think he's done a good job there in turning around. Obviously, Tom was there for a long time, and he's turned round. He had a little bit of a sticky spell at the start of the season, but he's got a way of playing. I thought they did well enough against Celtic last week. I fancy them to win 1-0 as well.
Yeah, and Roughie, it's one of those strange weekends. It's an away win. We've gone for. Are you going for that?
No, I'm going to sit in the fence as well. I think Motherwell can't be as bad as what they were last week, so I think they'll be working on that this week. So I agree. I think St Johnstone might just have something to look forward to in the coming weeks. So I'm going to go 1 each as well.
1 each, okay. And St Mirren against Livingston, I would have been possibly thinking minimum St Mirren getting a point, Roughie, but I'm going to go against that, basically because I've got 5 key players out. So I'm going to go St Mirren 0, Livingston 1. And I'm a big fan of what Jim Goodwin's doing there. You're happy with that? Look at the smile on your face.
No, I think Livingston have gone. They've had their time. And quite rightly as well, that there's not the first time a team like that's done. I remember Hamilton doing it one year. They were third in the league for a long, long time. And Livingston, again, have got some players injured. So, no, I think St Mirren are on the up. I'm going to go for St Mirren to win 2-1 in this one.
Right, okay. St Mirren are on the up, says Roughie. Charlie, let me just tell you, Brophy, Dennis, Quainer, McGrath and Doyle Hayes out.
Yeah, listen, 5 players is a blow for any squad, but a St Mirren squad that's not big in numbers probably, but I still think they're going to be enough, and I think they're going to win it 1-0.
Yeah, Chris.
I think Livy have been an absolute breath of fresh air. I think Dave Martindale's done a fantastic job there, and I think they'll bounce back. I think they'll get a win. I think we'll go for 2-0 to Livingston.
2-0 to Livingston. Okay. I'll tell you one thing, Barry. He knows how to play to the audience down there in Greenock, doesn't he, Charlie? He's just he is just sucking up to them. It's unbelievable, by the way. Wait till we get to the Morton prediction. Anyway, listen, we were worried about the old Scottish Cup, Roughie, but it looks as if they're going to pull the same stroke they did this year, which is basically play it as late as they possibly can. SFA looking to take it into next season to finish this season's tournament.
Yeah, I realise there isn't a sponsor for this cup, but the clubs do get a good payout, depending on how far you go in the rounds. And in the early rounds, it's quite considerable to a lot of the lower clubs. So I think they're all anxious that it doesn't get binned. They all want to play it. There's no doubt about that. And we'll just have to wait and see when they give it the okay.
Yeah, okay. As far as the championship is concerned, Charlie, you've got Queen of the South, and of course Hearts have got Morton. Hearts have got a manager who obviously has picked up a 2-game ban, just confirmed, guilty of misconduct after a 3-2 defeat in January. So he'll miss the Morton and the Inverness game as far as being in the dugout. Will it make one iota of difference? Let's find out, Chris Miller. Is it going to be Hearts or Morton for you?
No, look, under no illusions, we're going to the league leaders. It's going to be very difficult. We watched the Queen of South game against them last week. I thought Queen of South were excellent, in great shape. They frustrated Hearts a lot and taught them in the counter-attack. So, we know it's going to be difficult, but you have to go into every game with confidence and believe that you can get a result. Ourselves, we've been playing okay. We just maybe not be getting the results that we feel our players deserved. Like now, we're back in the final third at times, but we've worked hard and we'll go there with confidence. We've got a game plan and hopefully to pick something up from the game.
Okay, there's a bit of confidence for you. Charlie, Hearts or Morton?
I think Hearts concede goals. I know for what they've got, the players that they've got at the back, they've got even a goalkeeper, a top-class goalkeeper, but they give you an opportunity. And listen, Hearts are the big favourites at home, and you'd probably expect them to win that game. But if Morton are disciplined and set up right, they will get opportunities. It's just, can they go and take them? And be delighted if they can.
Yeah, absolutely, because it gives you a chance if you can defeat Queen of the South. Just out of curiosity, a lot of people wondering, is your game on, Charlie? Because you've had one heck of a break.
Yeah, no, I think we're on. It was raining this morning, but the pitch looks good. And tough week for us. 2 home games, Queen of the South, Ayr, and then we're at Wembley next Saturday against Morton. So it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
That's why I called it Wembley.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's Wembley from 1973, but nevertheless, you'll enjoy it.
Do you know what? I'm sorry to say, I actually enjoy the games. They're good battles, not much football played, and it's a different type of game for us to come up and play. It's one that you got to look forward to. You got to, everybody wants to play on a great surface and that, but sometimes you got to relish these challenges. And Morton's another one, a good team, and the pitch is not going to be great, and it's going to be a battle, so it'll be a good game.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what I'm like, Roughie, I always like to read between the lines there, and just a great little line from Charlie that he threw in there that nobody really noticed. Not a lot of football played. So there you are. That's him saying that the ball will have a flight path. It's as simple as that.
And I'll be needing a paracetamol at the end of it because it's going to...
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, can't let you guys go without some big games down south. I'm looking forward to the Merseyside derby. As you can see, the English Premier League scattered all across Saturday, Sunday, Monday and Tuesday as well. But Liverpool against Everton is a belter, as is West Ham against Tottenham on the Sunday. And of course, listen, if you think, some people up here get a hard time, they're actually, at this moment looking and wondering about Alisson, the Liverpool goalkeeper, and whether he has lost it at the moment. But Jurgen Klopp says he's world class.
But we are all human beings, and Ali as well. And he showed that in the last 2 games. And so that's how it is. It's not a problem. And of course, it's work, but most of the work you have to do with yourself. And he's doing that, definitely. It's not about telling him, come on, Ali, you're a world-class goalie. He knows that.
Yeah, Liverpool. I'm going for Liverpool to win it 2-1, Roughie. What about yourself?
Yeah, I'm going to go for Liverpool as well. That was a disappointing score for Everton there during the week. So, yeah, I think Liverpool will bounce back.
Yeah, Charlie, are you going for your old side?
Yeah, no, I think they will. I'm going to go 2-0.
Yeah, Chris?
2-0 for me as well. I think Liverpool are found their feet a wee bit again.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but Ruffy, I'm a big fan of Gareth Bale. His assist last night and his goal for Tottenham tells me that if Jose Mourinho doesn't pick him for the game against West Ham, there's something seriously wrong.
Yeah, and I think we all think there's something seriously wrong that he hasn't contributed more since he went there. There were a lot of sort of texts flying here and there and interviews coming out with some ridiculous comments of why he's not playing. So we all know he's got the ability, and when you've got that kind of ability and you can turn something like that on, you can't see him sitting on the bench when out at the end of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know about you, Charlie. I mean, I just think he's top drawer.
Yeah, listen, he's a world-class player. I think there's... how I feel is that Daniel Levy's done the deal and Jose's not happy with it, and he's trying to, stamp his authority a little bit. And, obviously now Gareth Bale's coming up and he's playing, he's showed his quality. And if he doesn't play on Sunday, he may as well just get back on his private jet and go back to Madrid, because he won't play again this season if he doesn't. He's been, he come in and done well. He deserves an opportunity. So, Tottenham are a better team with Gareth Bale in it.
Yeah, absolutely. My heart's slightly torn on this one, Chris, because quite simply, I'm a big fan of my old pal Davy Moyes, and I want West Ham to win it.
Oh, it's brilliant. The job he's done there has been different class. West Ham have been brilliant this year, and you always look for Scottish guys to do well when they're down south. So he's done a fantastic job, because he's had kicks along the way as well, obviously with Man United, but it's just like that. Like, quality always rises. Moyes has done a great job. Gareth Bale's come back in. You can't keep people with quality and no football down, and it'll be a tough game, but West Ham are in good form and they'll be looking to win that game.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's been a joy getting Chris off the bench, and wow, Charlie's kids are going absolutely mental. They all, that's them shouting and saying, "Dad, if he's not off at 5, give him pelters." But nevertheless,
no, he's
Chris.
It's a three-year-old causing causing carnage. He's 3-year-old. He's birthday next week, so he'll be causing mayhem downstairs.
Oh, magnificent. Brilliant. Well, happy birthday to him when it comes. Roughie, are you happy with our substitute, Miller? I thought he put in a sterling performance by
Yeah, he's done fantastic. He's done absolutely fantastic. He's just fortunate enough we've not got another 5 minutes to go, or he might just disappear out the screen. But he seems to he gets himself back. He's got something McManus, hasn't he got? He can rectify the problem very quickly.
A six pack.
Oh, listen, man. I'll tell you right now, he does. When
he comes on next, you need to get him to set in his top off. You need to get him his top off.
Right.
Oh, honestly, Charlie, this is the problem. I'm hiring him to try and get me fit, Charlie, because I watch the things he does on his channel, and it's absolutely sensational. Just out of curiosity, Chris, how long is it going to take you with me? Am I a 6-week job, or is it 3 months?
No. Look, we break it down into small parts, Peter. Every month we look just to progress. You know what I mean? So by a year you'll be, I don't know, halfway there.
Exactly. As soon as you said small parts, Roughie, I thought there's a hell of a lot of parts he's going to have to break. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Chris, thank you again, and undoubtedly as a valuable member of our squad. One more appearance, Chris, and that means that you'll be involved in our staff party. Just one more appearance, Chris, on this show, and you're in for the staff party, which is sensational. We've scheduled the staff party for 2025. What a year that's going to be when we all eventually get out of here. Anyway, great to have Chris on, and Charlie and Roughie. Don't forget, you can hit the follow button on our Facebook and share it, and you can hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel. Great to have the guys with us. If you get a chance, listen to the podcast, and you can watch it on YouTube as well with Kevin Twaddle. It's inspiring, uplifting, sometimes heartbreaking to see the dark periods that Kevin has had in his life. It's a long time ago he's battled back from a gambling addiction, and now over the last year with COVID and everything, there are times when, of course, he's struggled again. Footballers are just like you and me. It's all human beings who suffer the same problems, and it really is a heartwarming listen if you get a chance to listen to Kevin Twaddle's story. Well worth it. All that remains for me to say is I'm going to dedicate this show to my cousin who sadly passed away this morning. He was one of New York's top private detectives. He was a lovely man, an absolute gem of a guy, and he will be sadly missed by everyone of my family. To Joe Mullen, rest in peace. Thank you everyone for watching.
Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.